Hello citizens of YouTube and welcome to your home of starter deck content by default. I believe I'm the only one doing this. Anyways, we've got more starter deck action on the tap for today. And this tournament is going to be the Mepo Starter Deck Tournament. And you would think that, hey, maybe Mepo's building a deck, we might have a good deck. And that is indeed not the case. That is absolutely not the case. Mepo decided that he was going to build a really bad deck, throw in Stack the Deck, throw in multiple 8-drops, just to torture FakeMews. So, welcome to the Mepo Starter Deck Tournament. We must play the deck code that Mepo submitted in this tournament, card for card, best 2 out of 3. Rules are pretty simple. You can pick any god power you would like. So I'm going to introduce you to my round 1 matchup. I hope you enjoy it. Or, I don't know. What do people who watch starter deck content do? Is it enjoy or... I don't understand. I don't understand, chat. Welcome to the starter deck tournament sponsored by Mepo. He put Stack the Deck in this deck. Look at this hand. It's terrible. Why do I play these tournaments, chat? Are there even targets for Umber Arrow? I have no idea. I guess Axe Woman's a target. I don't know if it's correct to toss this out there or not, but we're doing it. I can play the Drunk and then trade these. That's like the most utility I'm going to get out of anything, isn't it? I think so. So we swap those, we make trade. We traded 1 drop for 1 drop, and we feel like we accomplished something. They went with Thievery, which is a very interesting strategy. I don't know if it's correct or incorrect, but it's one of those. And then they used their GP and passed. That was incorrect. But we've got nothing to do because this deck is absolutely horrendous. I think Mepo intentionally made one of the worst starter decks just to troll people. I think that's exactly what happened. So, picking Thievery might be the way to go. Orpheo's Distraction is just so versatile. I didn't GP my own minion because I thought the 1 health would be useful, and then he proves me right. So, and he's gonna be able to kill that. Excellent. So they'll kill this. Getting some value out of that. I'm playing this with no target. I mean, you could say this potentially combos with this, but what else am I gonna do? They are going to draw from Secrets Broker, which is pretty good. I have 2 ways of playing this. I've got a lot of ways of playing this, actually. I think the simplest is you're never guaranteed a target for Spiked T. So I think you take the opportunity when it presents itself. And then that's just a high value play. Next turn, we probably play the Vagabond. Well, they drew the Shiv. I think it's only a 1 of in their deck, and that is definitely a clutch draw for them. Unfortunately, their Vagabond we can't really deal with at the moment. Secrets Broker, it fits a mana curve, so we're going to play it. You could argue, well, next turn probably Aether Vanguard to kill this. They will be able to copy the top card of my deck. So we have to take a mental note of what they've copied. They will get some card advantage. They already got some card advantage from the Secret Broker. They'll bounce mine back to my hand with the Ransom. And so we know they have a Juggernaut. They copied a Juggernaut. They will probably play that in 2 turns. Aether Vanguard takes out that minion. They're very likely to have an Aether Vanguard to take out my minion, of which case I don't really have much of a response to. They are getting the Favor with the Makeshift Shiv, which is useful for them. Trying to value with Thievery. So we're going to put 2 3/3s on the board, fully knowing that they can just attack here, form a power here. They have to spend their Favor for that. And that's exactly the plan that they're going to go with. I'm not surprised that they're doing this. And we will be able to play the Secrets Broker and get some value. This comes out. We actually, yeah, let's just go ahead with the Juggernaut here. We remove their minion. We go face. Their Juggernaut's 50-50. If it hits ours, we've got a GP which can remove it. If it hits here, then they probably trade somehow. This Welcome Set tournament, each deck does have one copy of Rapture Dance. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's going to be somewhat problematic in certain stages, most likely. So if they play Juggernaut, what I'm going to do here is controversial because it might not be correct, but I'm going to bounce theirs back to their hand and attack their face and just toss out 2 minions here. So we are asking the question to our opponent. I was hoping this would boost here, but it didn't. They could Rapture Dance and attack here. Then they go to 5, and I am playing Orpheo's Distraction, so getting down very low is hard to stomach. We are asking the question with our current board state. They have a 9-cost ransomed minion in their hand. I assume they're going to be doing this attack and then maybe some sort of extra juice to finish us off, maybe? So probably this attack here. We have the Rapture Dance, and they got this. They got this as well. But we put them down to 3 here this turn. And that's going to be very unpleasant for them. They'll be at 3. We can just play Vault Vagabond and hide it. The unique thing is, we aren't even worried about Shield Maiden. In fact, I'm going to leave it in the Sanctum because they might buy it because we have Umber Arrow. So we're not worried about that. A lot of times in these situations, the way you get out of it is you stack 2 front lines. That way I can't just use my GP to sneak by anything. But we are definitely posing questions at the moment. Apep, that is an impressive minion. I can get them down to 1 at the moment. If I play this and hide it, I'm vulnerable to Rapture Dance. So there's that. I think we buy this. Like, if he has Rapture Dance, we go with this the following turn. If you're wondering, this line looks very strange. It does. But we are threatening lethal. We have Umber Arrow for this. He has Rapture, which doesn't surprise me. What we can do is we can play this or this and then hide it. And I don't believe he's going to have any ways to get out of the situation. I mean, I could be wrong. But this Ether Vanguard kills 2 minions and threatens lethal. We will buy the Rune of Life just in case. Then it gets replaced by something better. Yeah. So, for those of you who watched my J-Rock tournament video, know that this is being played on the same day. And, yeah, the Sanctum has not been kind to me today. And, wow, Wiznapper buys some time for sure. So we will still kill that. Hidden until the end of next turn. This is science. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Does this stay hidden? It does. I didn't know how that would work. Honestly didn't. We have an Umber Arrow for this guy. They're going to get the Ruin of Strength, so they're going to be able to play another front line. Okay, that is actually very effective, because now we still win, actually. We still win because we have Spike T. So that didn't solve their problems. But that almost really worked. So spiked T kills that minion. And we can go ahead, hide this, achieve the lethal, and we win game number 1. We won game number 1. Now here we are in game number 2. We are going first again. This deck is very slow tempo-wise. Like, this and this do combo, but this is early-ish. Jeez. Like, the Umber Arrow just is just hard to execute at the end of the day. It's just so hyper-situational, and I feel like the odds of getting the perfect value is just seemingly small. Just doesn't feel like there's enough targets to just steal and then run into early. Later in the game, it can combo with Uncanny Rogue, which is a synergy. But I was hoping for some more early game minions, and Wild Hog is that. I was hoping that would hit here, but it did not. Now, since they're playing Thievery, they can't just run into here and then ping, but of course they've got Makeshift Shiv, so they can do exactly that. Now the miss by the Hog is looking extra critical at this moment. And we're frozen, and then he misses. I can't even, chat. What happens if we do this? I think they can't regen anymore. Yeah. So that's a cool trick. I mean, they're just going to attack into here and then finish with a Shiv. Effectively achieving 2 for 1, getting this and this, only using 2 charges on this. They're taking the 50-50 gamble on a confused minion, and it obeys them. I mean, the Hog... I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's just unbelievable. Like, that move was a terrible idea, and it just works out to perfection. And if, of course, if we just had one of the two Hogs actually hit the correct target, then like none of that is even a point. Takes the 50-50, absolute horrible idea, and apparently they're psychic. They know that the Hog is going to obey them. Because obviously that Hog had something against me. They're just going to trade here, and play something from hand. We're getting absolutely destroyed in this game. Just in every aspect. And really just haven't had any luck in our favor. It's been quite depressing. I mean, this is... like, seriously? I'm just hoping they overextend into Rapture at this point. I don't know what I do here. And we can't even end the turn. The game's bugged. Everything is going their right way. It is an absolute atrocious situation. I mean... they're debating on whether or not to play another minion into the Rapture. I can tell by how much he's pausing that he's kind of suspicious, because playing Wild Hog and hiding it was a really bad line, but the only other line I had was Spike T, and that was also a very bad line. So I only have bad options, legitimately. A real man. Those are hard to find these days. Is he debating on a Sanctum play here? I don't see any comeback in this game, though. I think we're definitely going into a game 3. I wonder if he's legitimately roping or if the game's just bugged. These are questions you have to ask now. Easy decision. Get that and that off the board. We're trying to claim that we have some sort of board initiative here, but that's probably fake news. They probably pick off our hog here. They have something useful for board presence, which is a foreign concept to us this game. Another Umber Arrow. See, this is what I... Good grief. I mean, I can't even. Like, I mean, I guess we're okay if he decides to rapture this board. It's getting not that much value. And we're cycling the Sanctum, looking for something useful. Of course, we don't get anything useful. Yeah, we're just getting destroyed this game. It's just been a frustrating one. It's been a frustrating one from the onset. So we can hide this and it has regen. If they play 2 small minions, we can play 2 Rumber Arrows and maybe get out of this spot, potentially. That's incredibly optimistic, though, to say that we have a chance in this game. Notice how we have no targets for Umber Arrows. It's just horrendous. Meanwhile, we draw targets for Umber Arrows, so... yeah. I'm just bouncing this. It'll cost 8. They'll be able to play it in a couple of turns. I haven't figured out how we win this game. I don't think there's a way, and honestly, I probably should concede. Maybe it starts with him making a really bad Sanctum purchase, like this Tortesian Improviser, and then maybe I have like a really cool turn with Umber Arrows or something, or maybe I get a better minion to hide than this stupid Spring Bloom Hunter. Maybe there's a like Rune of Strength that pops up in the Sanctum, and then I'm dealing a little bit more to the face, a little bit faster clock. He did not draw a card from this. Maybe he picks an Avarax's Sanctum here for the memes. Just really grasping at straws here. But he does not do that. He knows what the top card of my deck is. Which, the way we have drawn this game has been very odd. I mean... it's the worst card in Gods Unchained. I'm just convinced. The more I play these starter tournaments, the more I hate that card. I don't know if there's a single ounce of possible win condition here. I'm playing on because I'm an idiot. Just kill me now, please. Yes. Oh yeah, they bought that from the Sanctum. Yeah, that was not fun. That was not fun at all. That was a disaster. I mean, here's game 3. I kind of am rooting for my opponent here. This has been nothing but pain and suffering playing this game. I have not enjoyed it at all. This is one of the worst decks that have been created in the starter deck format. And I mean, look at this. Like, there's not a single good keep in that hand. It just keeps getting worse. Good grief. I'm not going to have anything to play until turn 5. This is legitimately one of the worst decks I've ever seen. I've even seen the start. I'm saving my pip. I know normally I pip this out for board presence. You want to establish the board early because you're going first. But this deck is so top heavy, keeping the pip is probably worth more. They've got a Wild Hog, and they probably draw Makeshift Shiv because they draw it every game. Of course, we draw a Wild Hog off curve. That's just on brand now. They, I think, missed going with the Thievery and pipping out a 1-drop here, Makeshift Shiv. Are they getting... They seriously... They've drawn that every game. It's so frustrating. So I will go ahead, weaken that, I mean, it's going to hit here or here, and then the Shiv finishes. We actually have Archer or Drunk next turn. Maybe even an Umber Arrow in certain weird situations. So they didn't hit their intended target, but they got the second best target. That's better than I've done with my Wild Hogs, so they shouldn't be able to complain. One of the few creatures we could possibly target with an Umber Arrow, and of course, we can't really do that right now. If they've got Umber Arrow, we just get wrecked. They can find use for it, and we can't. And that's always frustrating. We're asking the question here, though. But if they've got Umber Arrow, they're going to feel very great about this spot. But if they don't, we're probably winning here. Like, are there ever scenarios where you play this on this and then just keep it kind of hidden? Maybe pick up the Bronze Servant next turn to whack away at this Shiv, which has been getting some value for our opponents fighting for the board here. Thievery, this feels a bit slow here. And a Chameleon on the board. That's going to end up interesting. And they should have played that first, because then if they top decked Umber Arrow, they would have had a line. But order of operations, kiddos. So I want to whack away at this makeshift Shiv, make it a little bit smaller. We are actually applying a decent amount of pressure here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hide this, because they did just play the roulette card, which draws them a lot of cards. They could easily draw into an Umber Arrow. So they get 3 cards, and then 2 cards from their hand get put to the bottom of their deck. So they could have easily drawn an Umber Arrow, and hiding this prevents any shenanigans. I fully expect this and like to trade that way. So they're going to put this to sleep, and we both get random A-Nims. And they've got the Spiked T alongside that. Very interesting. I will ask the question, and it goes face. Question is indeed answered. I will not be worried about relic removal. We'll play this dagger. We'll see. Maybe we can get some use out of it. Who knows? I was surprised he didn't trade off with the Chameleon on one of our targets with the makeshift Shiv. They might have a Rapture here. They can... Oh, they're taking another... They steal the one that's confused. They could have stolen the non-confused one. And they hit. I mean, this dude... I mean, you gotta be kidding me. How? How is this a thing? How is this a thing? This is absolutely unbelievable. Oh boy. We're going to lose this chat. I mean, we can't win this. We flat out can't win this. This person is clearly on some type of performance enhancing substance where everything that they can possibly do just works out for them. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. Meanwhile, we've got Stack the Deck, 2 8-drops. We've literally got 5 dead cards in hand. That's how bad this deck is. This is probably the worst starter deck I've ever played. And I've played it in pretty much all of these starter deck tournaments, and they all are very cringe, but this is the most cringe. Alright, so we're going to play Spiked T because we can. It's a line here, and we're just going to go face. And I'm not playing any more minions. They could have Rapture. So I'm going to buy the Battle Oryx. It's the best card in the Sanctum, and pass. If I use my GP to hide this one, then Rapture kills both. So I'm playing around Rapture Dance here. We've got them down to 7. We're asking a lot of questions to our opponent at the moment. Like, if, for instance, if they play APEP, then we have lethal by stealing it, hiding any one-cost minion, and going face. But they do not play APEP. They instead play a good card. So what I'm going to do is play this. And I'm not sure if they have any outs to this line. The reason why I say that, Rapture Dance does not kill the Secrets Broker. We've got Umber, we've got Orpheus Distraction, we have Rapture, we have Ransom. I just find it very hard to believe that they're going to be able to prevent lethal next turn. Oh, they bought the Rune of Life earlier, but since they played APEP, we have lethal. Forgot about that Rune of Life. It's been a bad day of Gods Unchained for me, chat. I know that this video technically was released after the J-Rock one. Finally, we draw our Makeshift Shiv. It is in our deck. But we go ahead, claim the win in round number 1, and unfortunately, there will be a round number 2. Content for the citizens of YouTube. An update at the end of the video? Are you confused? Well, I'll explain. So, what has happened for the rest of the tournament? After winning the round of 512, I advanced to the next round, the round of 256, and win that by opponent not showing up, which then sends me to the round of 128. However, the weekend that I was playing these matches, I was having issues connecting. People who were following my weekend ranked experience that week saw that in full swing. Issues when I edited my loadout to try to put in some of my trinkets. The lesson here is don't have trinkets and then the game doesn't break on you. So I made the mistake of trying to have trinkets. I swapped stuff in and out. I cleared cash, cleared assets, all this stuff. Couldn't get it to work. Then my tournament match comes around. Try connecting with my opponent via direct challenge. We attempted to connect 3 times. All 3 times I was unable to connect, so I elected to just forfeit the match. I was pretty sure that the issues were on my end, so I just conceded. At that point, there was just no reason to just suffer anymore. And when you can't even get the match to upload. So chalk that one as a loss to the bugs. There's nothing you can say but that. We had the round of 128 match scheduled there. Had a date scheduled for my opponent, but unfortunately unable to play the match. So that will be it for this tournament series. Very short tournament series. It's kind of like losing in round 1, kind of like losing in round 3. Did I lose in round 1 or did I lose in round 3? You tell me in the comments, or you can say round 2 and be special. Until after the vacation, this will be the last tournament that I will be playing in about a month. So I will see you the next time I have a Gods Unchained tournament.